Hey, what's going on, guys? So today, I just want to give an update on my key situation. If you saw, I got a bunch of stuff from Nite Ize, and the whole point was to kind of reevaluate the keys completely. I got rid of a couple different keys, but mostly I changed a lot of the attachments. All right, so essentially, each item, if you could tell, has its own locking black mini S-beaner. All right, so all of these have a locking mechanism, so they cannot open on accident. Again, keys getting thrown around and stuff, tossed around. I don't want anything falling off on accident, so this actually has a bar. Let me zoom in and show you this, if you haven't seen this before. And these unlock, so rotate the bar. Now you can open the attachment. This is particularly nice for the key fob. I have a couple options, like if I go to the dealership and I drop off my truck, I never have my keys attached, but obviously I need the fob. So I could push the side button, take the key out. That's if I don't want them to have access to, things like my truck bed. If they're doing work and they don't have to be in the truck bed, I don't want them to access it. Same thing with the glove box. If they're not doing anything with the glove box, like I put in my own cabin air filter, they already know that, so like when I'm due for one, they'll give it to me, and I'll take it home and do that myself. It saves them time. They don't really care. But if I do want to give them the key, it's nice to be able to, just detach this one portion. All right, so I could just give them just the fob, or I'll leave the fob usually like in the center, part of the truck. All right, so I have my own keys. They don't need these keys for anything, especially if I'm leaving it, overnight or something. So each individual set all has a purpose, but they're all connected with the locking mini S-beaners. But I do have both a Apple AirTag as well as my lucky silver dollar here. That is not on the locking S-beaner. It's on this really small S-beaner. All right, just to try that out. This has a very, very tiny opening on both spots. So even though these could open, it would be really, really unlikely that something's going to pop out. It really is such a tiny, tiny little opening. All right, so I think that's pretty secure, but we'll see with time. For some reason I lose it, of course I'll let you know. If you notice the main ring, I had a split ring forever. For years and years and years, it was just a split ring. The bigger the better. In this case, I went with this particular circle beaner, I guess. It's not an S. But same deal, the gate for this has a very tiny, tiny little opening. All right, so even if this sprung open for some reason, it'd be very unlikely that something would fall off. All right, I do like these super tiny openings. All right, besides that, as far as the actual keys go, or excuse me, the accessories, I did change my Olight. Now I have this, limited edition I-15. Super cool, just two modes, low and high. All right, it's rechargeable. All right, pops open. We have a USB-C fast charging. And this is like a blue slate type color. I had the red Olight on there forever. Just wanted to change it up a little bit. Still carry the handcuff key, which you probably saw before. All right, I do like that. That is not legal everywhere, so make sure you check your local laws. And the last thing is, I thought about putting a lanyard on here, but instead I went with this open hook S-beaner. All right, so obviously this clips on to the keys itself. But I thought this would be a really nice addition, and in having this and carrying this for about, 2 weeks or so now, it's just really cool. When I take the keys off, I can hook this on anything. If I have my keys in my pocket, like leg pocket, and I want to use them, like if I have groceries or something, I can unlock the door to get into the house, and then I just literally can hook this on anything, temporarily, except for my finger. But I can hook it on something real easy. I can hook it on the belt loop of my pants, but I don't have to worry about actually opening the gate. This is a temporary thing just to store the key. It's not a permanent way to store my keys. It's just real quick hook on something and not have to worry about that. It's just an interesting, different design than the normal, carabiners we're used to, or even the S-beaners from like Nite Ize. So just really cool, just using a bunch of those different products. I dig it. I know some people would think it's bulky. You guys have seen my keys over the years. It's been a lot fatter than this. It's been a little bit smaller than this. So overall, I really do like it. It works for me. I know a lot of people would probably not use the individual locking S-beaners because it does add bulk, of course. You can put a lot of this stuff directly onto the ring. But I do like the fact that it's separate. Like, for example, my flashlight, if I don't want my keys dangling like this, I can just take the flashlight off quickly. I would take it with the handcuff key in this case. I would just unlock it, pop it off the keys, and then I can use this independently. So if I'm using it for more than like a couple seconds, I don't have to have the bulk of my keys on there. Not a big deal. But for the most part, what this is doing, it's not that I need to separate keys, let's say. But for example, like if I wanted to use just this key, what it's doing is it's giving me distance from the keys. When it's close to the ring, it becomes a little bit hard sometimes to just quickly get what I need. When I have the distance because of these S-beaners, it's just a lot easier. Like for example, I'll use my physical key to get into the truck bed, all right, if I want to unlock it, because I always keep it locked. But you see the distance from the key from everything else, so I can dangle it down in the bottom of my hand and manipulate the key easier. All right, it goes for any of these keys. All right, I just like that better. So it's creating distance. It's not just the fact, oh, there we go. I don't know what happened there. It's not just the fact that I need to take them off, because in a lot of cases I don't need to take them off, but I do like the distance from the bulk of the keys. And then this S-hook has just been really cool, just interesting and different. But anyway, I just want to share with you guys. You'll probably see this again. I might do like a whole EDC update, but going on 2.5 weeks, something like that, 2 to 2.5 weeks on this new setup, and I really like it a lot. Again, bulky for some people, not an issue for me. I've had a lot more stuff on my keys before. Generally speaking, these will go into like a leg pocket. Now, even though this is a little unrelated to the keys, I just want to talk about having a key fob. If you have an older vehicle and you have to use a key to actually start the car, I mean, I've had that most of my life. The last probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, I've had keyless entry, keyless starting. On modern vehicles, it really is something else. To not have to touch your keys is life-changing. It really is. If you have, you know, fistfuls of groceries in both hands and stuff, you're going to the car, you don't have to, you basically use your elbow, or I can use the back of my hand to essentially hit the sensor on the door and unlock everything. It's, man, what a difference. When I took my keys in and out of my pocket every time because I had to use a physical key to actually, you know, start the ignition, it just changes everything. You know, how I carried my keys was very different too. So, I mean, a lot of those years when I had to use my keys ignition, I'd have some kind of a carabiner or something that would clip, you know, to my my belt loop, or the belt, you know, on my pants itself. So they'd be dangly on the outside. They'd be making noise. I'd sound like a janitor. They'd always be banging around and stuff. But now, in a leg pocket, they barely make noise, even though there's a lot going on here, but you barely hear it. It's not that much bulk in my pocket. I'm so used to carrying all kinds of crap anyway. But it's just, it really is amazing to go to your vehicle and just get in and just push a button and leave, as opposed to taking your keys out, unlocking the door physically, getting inside, physically putting the key into the ignition and turning it on. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's just, I guess it's the difference between having crank windows and electric windows. You know, obviously it's a lot easier to do that than to crank a window. But, you know, some people definitely dig older technology because there's less to break. I totally understand that perspective as well. So sometimes a crank window, I mean, if I can have crank windows specifically, I wouldn't mind it that much. If it was saving me money on buying a vehicle, I wouldn't care. But yeah, we just get used to these modern conveniences, and so many people watching now, you might be young enough where you've only known this. You've only known having a key fob. This is a new thing. I mean, most of my life, I think, or at least half of my life at this point, this wasn't a thing. You just had a key. That's it. You had a key to get in the vehicle, a key to start it. I remember my mom had a Ford station wagon. It was their first, my parents' first vehicle they bought brand new, and she paid it off. It was wonderful. They had that car forever. And the ignition key was so worn down that while she was driving, because my mom always had a bunch of stuff in her keys. To this day, she still has a bunch of stuff in her keys. You know, when her grandkids give her a keychain or something for Mother's Day or Grandmother's Day or whatever the occasion, it goes in the keys. So she has a lot of crap on there. And back in the day, it would the keys would sometimes fall out of the ignition while the car was running, you know, or I would take them out when I was upset or something. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's not good. And now, looking back, having heavy stuff in your keys does wear out the ignition as well. So luckily, it's not really a modern problem for vehicles, but some of you guys watching, and women, probably do still have older vehicles where you have to actually use an ignition key. And yeah, I mean, I don't miss those days. I miss a lot of stuff from back in the day. I don't think everything that's modern and convenient is better, but definitely, I mean, some of it sure is. I can't complain. But, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of a thing. But I don't control the car market. But I will say this is a nice upgrade. To not have to touch your keys at all, to just be in the vehicle and, you know, start it or unlock it, lock it, without really touching anything, you know, that's cool. I think that's cool technology. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day. Let me know something that you have on your keys that is completely unnecessary, but you carry it anyway. In my case, it's that handcuff key. Something, again, I'll probably never use. I always have as a backup. You guys know I do have multiple pairs of handcuffs. You know, because you made fun of me for having it, and that's okay. I don't have my glove box anymore, but I do keep some in the vehicle in a bob bag. But I don't think I'm going to be abducted and handcuffed behind my back and still have access to my keys. So, you know, this is really because I own handcuffs, and even though I have multiple keys, if for some reason it goes missing, well, I'll always have one of my keys. That's why it's there, in case you're wondering. But you never really know, right? I am a weird person. I do weird stuff. That's okay. A lot of you accept me. Thank you for that. Thumbs up to the people who just don't care how weird I am. Thumbs down to the people who constantly criticize me for being weird. You're weird too to someone. Just remember that. No matter how normal you are, you're still weird to someone. The things you eat, the way you look, the things you do. I guess there's no such thing as normal, just common. That would be the proper term. What's common? Anyway, thanks for watching. If you guys are weird too, kudos to you. Stay weird. Appreciate that. Actually, I can't say that. That is Tex Grebner's. I think that's one of his slogans, is make it weird. But yeah, my favorite, by the way, I still have a shirt from old Tex Grebner, which, if you don't know, definitely subscribe to him. Give him a little random shout out here. TGO Outdoors. If you don't know Tex Grebner, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but my favorite, I have a shirt from him. It's life ain't like the pornos and hunting ain't like the TV shows. It's true. It's a true slogan. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Link to Tex Grebner, by the way, down below. He's my boy. We have the same birthday. Do you know that? December 29th, 1984. We were both born. Weird. Different places, but same time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.